Hi, I'm Pauline.
Hey, I'm Priscilla.
I'm Pal.
And I'm Tamiron, and this is the
P3T Podcast.
Yes, welcome to another episode. Today our conversation will be steered around no. Just like the title of the podcast says. Quick disclaimer though, as the speakers in the podcast, we are all coming from a belief system that is similar. We're all Christians and therefore we share the same faith, and therefore we're speaking from our perspective as Christians, and therefore, take what you can. If it doesn't apply to you, it's fine. Another thing, we're not trying to condemn anyone, we're just speaking from our point of view and from what we know. So without further ado, inakwanga hivyo. Without further ado, let's kickstart this conversation. So guys, why do we say no?
I think for me, sometimes you don't want. Like sometimes people invite you places, and sometimes you're offered something, and maybe, for example, you've had a long week, you've had maybe back-to-back classes or back-to-back work, and just things are not it, and you've been looking forward to Friday. You just want to reach home, you want to sit in your sitting room or your bedroom, put on something to watch, eat, sleep. Not everyone is always excited to go out and have fun. So I think for me, sometimes it's just I don't really want. Sometimes I just want to sit by myself, and that's okay. I don't constantly need to be going out. I don't constantly need to be having fun. I don't constantly need to be with others. So if I say no, sometimes it comes from a place of exhaustion or just wanting to have me time.
Or even from a point of my personality. Maybe I'm not exactly as extroverted, therefore I don't really feel comfortable putting myself out in some situations, and it's okay for me to say no.
Yeah. Also, another reason I'd probably say no, I think this really happened to me a lot of times, or it happens to me a lot of times. I don't know if people who stay in their parents' house may relate to this, but one thing I know is I'd probably say no if I'm being invited going out maybe at night, and you don't want to be misunderstood by your parents. Because most of the time when you're staying under your parents' house or under your parents' jurisdiction, you can't just go wherever you want to go. So you'll have to hey mom, I'd like to go out, but I'll be leaving, let's say, by 6 p.m. and I'll probably be coming at midnight. So to avoid the whole explanation bit of where are you going, who are you hanging out with, what time are you
coming back at midnight?
Exactly.
How are you coming back?
So to avoid all that complication, basically you just say no, I can't make it or something.
Also, out of respect.
To add to that, it's just, I think sometimes you just need to show respect to the people who are housing you. Because at the end of the day, this is your mom's or your dad's house.
Exactly.
This is your mom's or your dad's house, and they need to you just need to show them some respect. You just can't waltz in and out as you please just because you have an idea or just because you feel like you can. It feels a bit rude.
Sasa mimi pesa. Sometimes for real, and it's not those in a pesa, all I just want to do is go home and think about my financial situation. Sometimes I'll say no because for real I don't have the money. The other day I was planning to meet a friend. We're March, we're going to meet in March ni month yetu. March, kakuta nikamwambia bro. April will be our month. April nakaribia and who's still broke? So sometimes I say no because of my finances, because you tell me we go out and then how am I going out? How am I getting home? So sometimes sometimes the money just doesn't come through.
And you don't want to be that one person you've gone out and is let's buy this. I don't have money.
I'm not to be that guy. You're supposed to chip in, but you can't. And you still end up eating from.
What about to sew a 5 bob?
Poverty is calling.
Shindwe. another reason is your belief system.
Mm.
Maybe according to your belief system, I don't want to say it's not right, but
It's not what you align yourself to.
yeah. Thank you, pal.
Thanks.
Because I'll give us a random example. A few days back, my classmates.
Bossy.
I just want to exclude myself from
No, liko huko.
but anyway, my classmates and I were planning to go out, and there was alcohol involved. But I have a particular friend who is Muslim, and it was Friday, na alikuwa ametoka kuomba. Just imagine he didn't touch the alcohol because ametoka kuomba. He's just aligning himself to his belief systems. Similarly, I drank something. But according to our belief systems, or us as Christians, because in this context we're speaking as Christians, it's not, it doesn't align with our beliefs. Also, another common one that is, common is the concept of living with a partner before you get married. People do that. It's fine if you do that, but as a believer or as a Christian or as someone of my faith, I can't do that, or I choose not to do that because according to the belief, or to my belief, or more specifically according to what the Bible says, it's not recommended. So for me personally, and I think this probably speaks for all of us, we will very likely wait for marriage before we move in with our partners. But we're not saying it's bad. I mean,
You do you.
you bambe.
You bambe, mama.
If maybe even you believe that I can't live with someone, or I can't get married to someone until I've lived with them. And I've seen how they operate around the house. That's a very valid reason, by the way. But actually, no, but that's your reason. We also have our reason and our
And are all entitled
and our
to
beliefs. And we're entitled to have our own opinions. So also, when did you guys say no?
When have we said no before?
Okay, not when have you said no.
In a situation.
When was the last time?
Hey,
A situation you are in where you said no.
that's a difficult walk down memory lane.
I think we'll talk both ways. When did you say no?
And when is the
when
last
were
time?
you... Okay, when did you say no? When was the last time? And also, when were you swayed by the pressures of life and you just went along with things? Okay, let's start with when did you last say no to something?
I can give an example. I said no to going to any other big events, but it's because of the personality thing. Like, sometimes I can be is it ambiverted?
Ambiverted.
Sometimes I can be ambiverted, but
For context, ambivert, mix of extrovert and introvert.
but I'm definitely like an introvert. So big social gatherings, they are not my vibe. I get like so much social anxiety, I don't have fun, I'm so self-conscious. It's like, it's a me thing, like I get into my own head. So the last time I said something was now like big social gatherings. I tried it, I said yes, I went for one, I tried it, then I was like, you guys, like, I love spending time with my friends, the friends who invited me over to the event. I was like, I've loved spending time with you. I promise I have. But my social battery just died way too fast, way too easily. So that's the last time I said no.
I think
Okay, short one.
Pauline.
I think the last time I said no was mine was definitely money involved, because sometimes you can find yourself not willingly or not like consciously just in a group of people where everyone is pretty much way better off than you. So like for them, spending large chunks of money at once doesn't seem like a big deal. But like for you, in your chest with everything you have, if you remove this 1,000, you are not going to go to school. And so I think the last time I said no was probably to one of these things that was being planned, that the budget was just a bit too high for me. And so, yeah, I said no. It wasn't like I didn't want to go, because I did. I really, really did. But then, like, also understanding your position in life and like what you have and what you don't have, and being okay with that, like not needing to like be someone you're not. So that was probably the last time I said no.
When I said no, okay, there was one incident where I knew a person, like this person we schooled with, let's say, back in primary, and we talk once in a while. And funny enough, this person decided to ask for nude content from me. So he was like asking me if I could send him nudes, and I was like, no, because I personally believe in sexual purity and sanctity, and at least, not even that, I personally take viewing my body as something sacred and something that is for me. I don't know if y'all can understand.
Yeah.
But I think that's the one that came to my mind recently, because I don't know if a lot of girls relate, but so many guys per se, not even guys, not so many, but there's some incidences you'll find a guy asking you for nudes, and due to peer pressure of like knowing that, how do I explain? Due to peer pressure of girls sending nudes, like it's common, or it's not a big deal. For me, it's a big deal, and I think saying no was the right thing for me. Yeah.
I have two instances that come to mind. The first one was also about my financial position. The university I go to offers lunch. They have a cafeteria where you can go buy yourself lunch. But sometimes the prices can be relatively high. So I remember that day, I didn't want to eat because I needed to save something. So I couldn't have lunch. I didn't want to have lunch. But the people I was hanging out with, all of them were like they were eating. And they were not only eating, they were eating something good, So it took a lot of self-control, thank you, just to tell myself, I can't afford this now, maybe ever. By the way,
Pick it into the future.
Amen.
Yeah.
I can't afford this, and it's okay. Like, I can just watch you eat and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
So that
Kula
was
kwa macho.
kula kwa macho. But some of them were actually so nice. They
Walikuchangia.
I didn't like it because
Makes you feel like a charity case.
it made me feel like a charity case. But anyway, they were nice enough to changia for me.
Oh, that's nice.
That's nice.
Another instance was a friend. I was talking with a friend from school, and we were just talking about sherehe. And I remember he invited me for one, or he was like conversation was leading to him inviting me for a sherehe. But the thing is, I didn't trust this person, or I wasn't.
Common case.
Yeah, we were just known each other. So I didn't trust that I'd be safe. It's not about him, or maybe it is. I don't know. But just for the sake of safety, and also it was far. To be honest, it was very far from my stay in Kitengela. This thing was in Nairobi. How would I get home?
Yeah.
During a lot of these things, people have the option of Uber. But now an Uber from Nairobi to Kitengela is like 2K. Who has 2K? So
Not you.
You spend more money on
not now. Exactly. Not now.
Yeah, soon.
For sure, not now.
Yeah,
soon. But yeah, those were just among the reasons I said no to the person. Now on the flip, what instances were you swayed by the crowd, for lack of a better term?
Wacha nianze hiyo.
Tuambie.
Okay. So recently, basically in the Christian faith, majority of us believe that getting drunk is a sin. And unfortunately, I have been in I've been in that
Situation.
yes, in that situation. Honestly, I had I can't say that it was a case of like saying no. I feel like it was a case, I knew in my spirit that what I'm doing is wrong. And it's a choice you make consciously before you get drunk. That yes, I want to get drunk. Because taking alcohol will get you drunk if you take a lot. And yeah, so I got drunk. And when you have a hangover, you tell God, I shall never drink again.
I promise.
I promise.
Okay, bro,
Those
Nico,
prayers, those prayers are normally said on the toilet bowl because
You're like, God, I promise if you take this away from me, I promise I'll never do it again. Next
my-
week to go on it.
anyways, thank God. God honored that prayer. To be honest, he did, because anytime I smell anything like spirit or vodka, anything that has alcohol in it, I just get nauseated.
Trauma.
Yeah, that is trauma. It's the trauma of drinking that, like, never again. Like, if someone were to bring me Gilbey's right now, let me just stick to water. Because I can't, like, let's not go there. Let's not go there. But yeah, I swayed from my beliefs. And to be honest, I did repent, because, there's something called consciousness. And the Lord tugging in your heart. And he tells you, Zoe, you sinned. Priscilla, you sinned. And you need to get right. But yeah, that's the time I swayed from my beliefs.
Oh, me.
Sasa tulikuangalia.
I wouldn't say like I said to my beliefs. It's when I didn't say no. Yeah. So I talked about like going like now after this big social event gathering whatever that I went for. I was like, you guys never again. Because now you're talking about the next one, and I was like, no, me, I'm physically and mentally drained. I can't do this again. Mimi, I'm barely functioning. So the thing that I said yes to was going for now this social gathering that I went for recently. And I think it was a good decision to say yes, because like my friend was like, Pal, you're in university, you're in university and you can't just come in and out of school and you're not making friends and you're not talking to people. And I was like, whether you have a point, because that's the same thing I say to people who I find out, like, if you're a person in my church that I don't know, and then you come and you tell me, yeah, me nakutana to church Sunday, naingia na natoka. I just come in and I come out and I see you guys, but I'm too scared to say hi, I'm like, no, like, plug into church. Now I'm that person. No, you should plug in, you should make friends, you should join the youth ministry. There's that, So I was like, this is like, I think this is just irony talking to me. So, you don't know until you try in some cases. So, so I said yes now to going to that big social gathering. And I don't think I regret going because, I wouldn't have known, singejua that I have like zero social battery. But yeah, so I don't regret going. I think, and I don't regret saying yes. And I think like I'll try to say yes to more things, try to take risks more often, not like calculated risks. Yeah.
For me, I think more often than not, I tend to say yes than more than no. Because part of the reason I think is because the word no is very embedded in like you're making people angry.
Negativity.
It screams, I don't want to hang out with people. And that's not true. So I think the one thing that comes to mind is sometimes like we're going somewhere and like there's a set amount of let's say there's a set amount of money that everyone has been said will spend, and like I know I should not be spending that amount of money, because ultimately like we're trying to build saving culture. We're not just trying to walk into this economy blindfolded. So like I know like there's certain things I need to start working on, and saving is one of them. But like I want to go and so I end up saying yes as opposed to saying no. And it's something that I am working on. But like Rome wasn't built in a day, so give me time. Give me time.
I think for me, I alluded to it earlier. When I talked about my classmates and I don't know per se whether it was peer pressure. Honestly, I was very curious. Nilikuwa nataka kuonja hii kitu nione what is this there that is so hyped about this whole experience. But anyway, point is, I was so challenged by my Muslim friend who seriously abstained. Like, he was just there watching us. Like, he followed his beliefs to the latter. And what?
Yeah.
Can I just say something that I admire? It's like sometimes I just admire Muslims because they're like, for me, I find it very difficult to tell people that I don't drink. So I'll just like play the gray area, because I still want to be your friend. Like that, it doesn't matter to me if you drink or not. What matters to me is like what you do when you're intoxicated.
Exactly,
like if you take advantage of people, illegal things. But it doesn't matter to me what you do, as long as like when we're together, we're having a good time, and we're together, like you respect me, I respect you. We know each other's boundaries, whatever. That's what matters to me. So, but I feel like in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, because I don't think people are going to judge me. They're going to be like, hey, holy, hey, where's it coming? Hey, don't say these things. But
hakunywangi.
Yeah, but I like in some of my classes we have like discussions, and not even discussions, like before a class starts longer. So one time I was sitting next to this group of people, and they were with this girl. I think she's Muslim. So they are talking about like their plans for the day, and then they're like, hey, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm just going to go chill. Yeah, personally, and no one asked her. It's just like, yeah, personally, like I don't drink. It's something that doesn't align with my personal values and beliefs. I could never.
You remind me of a situation earlier on. Nobody ilikuwa to campus. I remember I lied. I actually lied. So one person was like, oh, so you don't party, you don't drink, Me, I lied. I was just like, actually I had a very bad experience once. I got so hungover, I said never again. Truth is, wapi. At that time I had never drank. I thought sijui hangover inakaa aje. So I just felt like I needed to justify myself. I needed to justify my no. When honestly, a no can just be no. But I should be able to say no, and what to accept tu nimesema no. And at the same time, someone else should say no
To you.
to me. And I'm like, okay, sawa, she said fine. No, it's fine. She doesn't need to justify it. Or he or she doesn't need to justify it. And we can move on with life.
Yeah, and even that, like, if someone tells you no, also understanding like it's not necessarily about you. Like it's not you're not a good friend, or you're not a this, or you're not a that. Like sometimes no is just no, and it has nothing to do with you.
Anyone.
It's just no, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Am I ever allowed to contribute to these conversations?
No.
But tell us what you want to say, and we can like say it for you.
No, it's just about my personal. I don't like so emboldened in KU and like saying no. Yeah. So like it's so liberating. Like saying upon saying no is so liberating. I'm just like no. Tuna kunywe no. Tuna containers no.
We've actually preempted our next point, which is like, I don't see the benefits of saying no, but the benefits of saying no. Like, it gives you a boldness. Like, hey, I can actually say no. What else can I say no to? It gives you a boldness.
And I feel like it's one of those things that you do once, and then you're done. Yeah. You just do once and you'll just feel like you can do it over and over again.
Yeah.
But I think also something is like drawing a line between saying no just for saying no. Because when you talk about like this confidence, it's something I feel like that can be a bit addicting. So it reaches a part where you're saying no,
Before
not
you
really,
say,
before even you listen or before you hear what the other person, you're just saying no because you feel like you have the power over that person, which I think is very dangerous and like not something that we should be striving for. So I think finding a good balance between saying no but also listening to this other person and understanding what they're saying.
Also, another reason, I mean, a benefit, yes, of saying no could be even for your sanity. Because, like, sometimes you find yourself, like, if I didn't say no, and then you do something that you didn't really think about, like, later on, the consequences. And let me use the hangover example, yes, where I didn't say no to drinking, and then I did get a hangover, and, like, you see, you maybe even the time you are hangovered, or not even hangovered, oh my god, what am I saying? The time you are drunk, you did some things that you can't really erase or you can't really change, and then you end up regretting and beating yourself up for things that you did while intoxicated. So basically, to avoid all the fracas of beating yourself up and feeling like you have failed yourself, I guess it's better to say no in some certain situations that might contradict what you believe in. And
I think going back to feeling confident or boldened. Is it boldened?
That's one, emboldened.
Emboldened. It reminds me of something I heard from Mike Washira. Do you guys know Mike Washira? Is it Mike Washira? Yeah. He's, guess, let me call him a content creator because I don't do his other hats. But he was talking about how he was talking about how he quit drinking and how it was so interesting and so entertaining that every time he'd go out with his friends, all of them are ordering whiskey, vodka. But him, he'd order Fanta. And his friends would get angry. They're like, "Ay, Bana, what's wrong with you? Why are you taking a Fanta?" He's like, "Hi, this actually makes you this angry. Okay, I'll push the limit. Next time I'll order tea." And I found that so funny and so... like, you've been emboldened. So I think I want to try the same. Next time, niende ni order kahawa.
We're in it together.
I'm a maji.
Let's
be super specific.
If you want to be bougie, put some lemon in it.
Exactly. I was going to say something like nimesahau.
Itarudi tu.
Utakumbukanga tu.
There's a question I had about saying no. Where do we draw? Okay, I like what Pauline said, where she was illustrating or per se putting into view or perspective where saying no can be too much. And but there's this thing about introverts, okay, and the way introverts don't like stepping into the light and being active in daily activities per se.
Social activities.
Social activities, that's the word.
That one.
So how do we, because like a lot of introverts that I know of would probably say no to even a hangout because they don't like interacting with other people, or they feel scared or anxiety with
real.
meeting new people. So where does the boundary come in between being an extreme introvert and saying no
To everything.
I think now as an introvert myself, it's not that introverts don't like people. You know, it's like we don't like people. Like I have extroverted tendencies. So like here with us, you know, the four of us, I like spending time with smaller groups of people. So like 10 and below, you know, I like spending time with groups of people, you know. But like big things, like a big event, that one I can't do. And I like to, like introverts, some, like everyone likes to have interpersonal conversations. But I know extroverts can have like over the surface conversations better than introverts can. You know, like how is the weather? You know, things like that. You can create a whole story. So I think for introverts, the challenge is to take take what people are offering you, but in small doses. So you see, like I know personally, I like hanging out with small groups, yeah?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. So when my friend invited me for the event, I was like, oh, okay, let me go, let me see. Because I like small groups of people.
Yeah.
I also like meeting new people, but just in controlled settings.
Yeah.
It's just those big settings, they're just not for me. So it's knowing who you are and trying out different things. Slowly, just one person, like going to saying hi to one person and sticking with them,
Yeah.
saying hi to two people and sticking with them, like that. It's just moving. You just move at a slower pace, Extroverts can come and they say, hi, who wants to be my friend,
Yeah.
An introvert won't do that. They'll sit at the corner and they'll say hi to their neighbor.
Yeah.
So that's how introverts operate. It's not that they don't want to say no. It's not that they want to say no. They're just a bit different. They're good to be social, just in a different way. Sorry for taking so long to explain that.
It's
Also,
alright.
there's I don't know that it's introverts only, but there's some aspect of social anxiety, especially when you're in a crowd of people you don't know at all. It can get very overwhelming. So I think there's also that. Yeah. The overwhelming bit of it may lead you to say no.
Yeah.
I think though, as someone who considers themselves quite ambivert, like there's days when I talk to anybody. Like we can walk on this Nairobi street and I can speak to strangers. But then there are days I struggle to even get out of the house. I'm scared. So I think something that I've seen is just having a good balance in your friends. Because I have friends that are 100% extroverted. Like them, they're forever talking to other people. So like sometimes if I'm introverted, I don't mind like tagging along with them because them they'll keep the conversation going. I don't need to be the one constantly talking to people. But then sometimes like if I'm super in an extroverted mood, like and then like I have an introvert next to me, then I'll keep the conversation going in a way that would make them feel out of place and would make them feel uncomfortable, but also not forcing them to be part of a conversation they don't want to be. So I think finding a good balance in like the people you hang out with. Like don't hang out with the same person basically.
I think going back to what Tamiron said about like this friend of yours Mike Washira. When he said like when we went to his friends and then he ordered tea, I think also when we're saying no, I think just in general we should look for people who are willing to respect our boundaries and are willing to respect theirs. So like us four as like Christian women I think we should find people who are like, oh, like you don't do this or you do this, like we do devotion, we go to church, they're like when you tell them that about your weekend, they're going to be like, hey, you don't wow. You should be like, what did you do during your weekend? I'm land out. I'm in the kanisa. And then you're like, oh, that's so cool. That's cool. And then you move on. That's not your entire personality. That's not the entire personality. So finding people who respect your boundaries and you respect theirs, I feel like that's something that will make your relationships work. See ati kila saa mnachukiana, because then your relationships are not going to work out.
Another reason people say no is out of fear. I think I've alluded to this earlier, or I've talked about it, but that situation with my friend, actually I didn't trust him, and it was the fact that I didn't trust him, and I also had a bit of fear because those things end late. Let's start there. You are a girl. You cannot be seen walking out in the dark. There's so many things that can happen to you. And then Kenya is not a secure place. Kuna muggers, kuna thieves, kuna rapists. You just have to, it's about being cautious and fear,
And fear.
No. Like fear.
Saying out of fear.
Yeah.
I guess it's a constant thing that, I don't know, a majority of women face. Yeah, because like if you meet someone new and you're not comfortable with them and they're giving you weird vibes, hey, my friend, stay away. Like, you don't know people's intentions. And nowadays, some people are psychotic.
True.
And you don't know they're psychotic. So, be careful.
I think something that I say no to, like people that I say no to, the fastest, I don't even think, are like guys who come and they don't know me and they're like trying to like get my number or whatever. Like I understand you have pure intentions. I understand, okay, some of them might have pure intentions, but like, what if I'm a sacrificer? You know, like you don't know me. So not something that I apply to everyone. Like I don't really know you. Like, yeah, perhaps you're coming from the bottom of your heart. Let the Lord told you this is your future wife. You know, or this is someone that you talk to, approach this person. Mimi sijapata hiyo upako. So I just like, if it's a situation where like you just walked up to me, yani hakuna kitu tunafanya, I'll just say no because I'm scared.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you're a sacrificer and you also don't know if I'm a sacrificer. So it's a genuine concern. So, yeah, those are things. That's when I say no because of fear. Yeah.
I think for me, sometimes I feel like new things will always be scary. So like if it's something you're not used to doing, you're always going to be scared to do it for the first time. So sometimes like if it's something that I've never done before and someone has told me, oh, let's go do this, chances are I'll say no. Not because I don't want to spend time with you, not because what we're doing is quote unquote a sin or will lead me to sin or anything, just because I'm scared.
Yeah.
So I think maybe the thing we should be talking about is all fear good? Because like the ones you guys have said about fearing people and people's intentions, that makes a lot of sense and that's like appropriate and needed. But then like now if you're just scared of doing something new, is that necessarily appropriate, or should we just become brave people and stop fearing small things?
I think we should be brave. There's this time I went for a camp and it was like an adventure. You know, like you go for camp, like for church camp especially, and most of the time you just read you do like sessions, and maybe you'll go to a field and play cartoon or whatever. But this one, like we went to Sagana and we did like all the things you do in Sagana. So we went cliff jumping, cliff diving, and like I said no 5 million times. I was like, no, I'm not going. Everybody just left me there like, okay, so cool, you're not going.
Stuff.
Yeah, and you were like 15 people, I think, in that camp. So like imagine like 14 people just walking up to you all the time telling you, Pal, just go. But eventually I went. I went once, but I went.
Yeah.
So eventually I just went and I jumped off the cliff and I was like, wow, this was the scariest experience in my life, but I feel great, you know.
Yeah.
So I think I think sometimes we need to evaluate why am I saying no.
Yeah.
I know like no is a complete sentence, that's the statement.
Yes.
Yeah. But sometimes evaluate the why. You don't have to give a reason, but
within
give yourself a bit of introspection and investigate why you're saying no, so that you don't lock yourself out of certain experiences. You know, discover yourself and nje jibambe. Yeah.
Okay, Priscilla.
Yes.
Take us through the biblical view of this thing.
So basically, in the Word of God, in James chapter 1, verse 19, it talks, let me just read it for you. Be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. So how I internalized this was in a manner, like, when you're saying no, respectfully communicate in an honest manner. Like, be honest with yourself, be honest to the other party, and be respectful in a way. Because, sometimes we can say no, unknowingly sometimes we can say no in a rude way. We can, like, being honest. And the word just says, be quick to hear, slow to speak. So quick to hear and understand the person's point of view. Slow to speak so that you don't say it in a rude way. And slow to anger so that you don't say it in a way that they are like, how do I explain? They are, there's this word I'm looking for. They are angering you or they are provoking you. Yeah, it's like they're provoking you in a certain manner. So, yeah, and also this other verse where, this is like mostly to give strength to those that have a hard time in saying no, and to feel like that they're not alone, because sometimes we are afraid to say no in certain situations, especially because you don't want to be judged and put in a bad light. So Isaiah chapter 41 verse 10, it says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, I will help you, I will uphold you with my righteous hand." So God is with you. Try, even though sometimes it's going to be hard for like you to think you've done the right choice, maybe because of peer pressure or how people will perceive you after saying no, just know, as long as you feel that is right for you, God is with you. And if it's in relation to God's word and the whole world is against you, know God is behind you, backing you, and you don't need to be afraid because he's with you. Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
When I'm broke.
Amen. Economy ni mbaya.
The last verse I would like to share is how to know when to say no. I think that's some, yeah.
Yeah.
So First Corinthians chapter 6 verse 12, Paul wrote, "Everything is permissible for me, but not everything is beneficial. Everything is permissible for me, but I will not be mastered by anything." So as Priscilla said, you do what you feel is right for you. So, but how to know what feels right for you? You can pray, like, say until you're kneeling down and you're crying and wailing. No, like, you can just say a quick prayer, while you're standing somewhere, and ask God to reveal to you whether it's something that will master you, will be the master of you. Yeah. So everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial, and do not be mastered by anything.
I think something interesting now that tumeingia kwa Biblia is like, it's pretty interesting to see throughout like the Bible and like the people that have been recorded in the Bible. Like there's a lot of them who were in situations where like the default would be to say no. For example, Abraham. When Abraham was told by God, "Give me your son," he was like, at that point, mimi sitting here right now, Pauline, acha nisiwadanganye, ningesema tu roho safi maisa. No. No, that's not happening. I'm sorry. But you see, like, I think there's some aspect of courage to, especially with reference to like what I was talking about, being scared to do certain things because like being scared to say yes to certain things. So you say no because you feel like no is safer, no is like better. But like to some extent, I think we need to step out and have the courage to say yes to some situations. Obviously, like as you said, be conscious, know what is right for you, know what will ultimately benefit you in the end. But like, don't be afraid. Yes, say no, but don't also be afraid to say yes, because sometimes you need to find a healthy balance between the two. Your life just can't be no, and your life also can't be yes. So I think it's healthy to find a good balance.
Wow.
That has been such a nice conversation, guys. Thank you so much for participating. Again, I'd like to give this disclaimer. Everything we said, our views were based off of our belief systems. If yours is contrary, ni sawa. We're not pointing fingers. We're not, accusing anyone of anything. We're not saying this is right and this is wrong. We're just giving context from our own beliefs. And to be more specific, Christian beliefs.
Yeah.
And I hope you enjoyed that, episode. Stay tuned for the next one. And
Bye.
Bye.